Hey everyone, this is Dino. Recently, I've received a number of questions on this new endorsement. It's not quite new. It was introduced on January 1st, 2024. So we are kind of celebrating the 1 year anniversary of this endorsement called OPCF 49. OPCF stands for Ontario Policy Change Form 49. It's kind of a long-winded title, Agreement Not to Recover for Loss or Damage from an Automobile Collision. So there lies a lot of confusion for many people. So I'm going to address some of the confusion and try to answer some of the questions. This is a very important endorsement that was introduced a year ago. It became kind of a controversial on the social media, and there's a lot of blog posts about this endorsement. So let's get right to it. Okay. So first of all, what is this OPCF 49? Effective January 2024, insurers issuing Ontario automobile policies were required by the regulators to offer their insureds the OPCF 49. So this optional endorsement provides insureds with the choice to opt out of DCPD, direct compensation property damage coverage, in their automobile policy. So this means that if an insured is involved in a collision for which they are not at fault. Remember the premise of DCPD when it was introduced in 1990? Regardless of who is at fault in an accident, or regardless of who you think may be at fault or not at fault, you always deal with your own company. That's you directly go to your own company and get compensated to the degree you are not at fault. Okay, so we'll say more things about DCPD in a moment because OPCF 49 will remove the DCPD coverage once the customer signs up for this. That's very significant. And so this means that if the insurer is involved in a collision for which they are not at fault or partially at fault, they will not be able to recover the following items from their insurer: automobile repair, the value of the automobile or replacement, the loss of use of the automobile, like rental car coverages, damage or loss of the contents inside the automobile. None of that will be available. So I have received the following questions, some via my YouTube channel and some via LinkedIn. So these folks have told me that they are confused with the title of this new endorsement and that they're not sure what coverages they will be losing by purchasing this endorsement. Here is why people are confused. So let us unpack the nuances in the title, break it down a little bit. So the first sentence says in the title, agreement not to recover for loss or damage. So the phrase loss or damage is probably what is confusing people, because when you look at the right-hand side of my screen here, I have put up a picture of the actual automobile policy that everybody has in Ontario. Everyone's policy in Ontario should look the same, just like what you see here. So you can see there are 5 coverages that I've highlighted. Out of the 5 coverages, the last one is called loss or damage coverage, which the title is referring to, it seems. But the problem with that is the loss or damage coverage is an optional coverage already. Everybody in Ontario, they must have these 4 coverages. The loss or damage is all about, it's also known as the own damage coverage or physical damage coverage. The regulator, they don't worry about, if you want coverage for your car, then, you purchase this coverage. They're not forcing it on you. All right. So loss or damage is the title of a very specific coverage in Ontario automobile policy. This is also known as Section 7. This is also known as the physical damage coverage or own damage coverage. So this is not DCPD. But OPCF 49 said we're going to remove DCPD. Now, on the current OAP1, loss or damage coverage is an optional coverage, then why do we need to purchase this new endorsement? Now, I'm not asking this question. I'm going to clarify this, but a lot of people are asking this question. The title also states that from an automobile collision. So what if my car is stolen, which has nothing to do with the collision, it's a theft? Can I then make a claim with my insurer? That's another question I'm getting here, okay? Very legitimate question. So in addition, the title does not refer to DCPD at all. So people generally understand that when they are at fault in an accident, they must have either collision or all perils coverage to make a claim when they're at fault. However, when they are not at fault, or maybe they are partially not at fault, then DCPD will provide them the coverage. This is the general understanding by the public. So now people are asking, when the title refers to collision, why my DCPD coverage will be removed by this endorsement? Okay. Now let us just summarize the benefits of DCPD and why it was introduced in Ontario. Why I say that? Because we are now removing the DCPD by this OPCF 49. Let's see the reason why it was introduced in 1990. So DCPD was introduced to help simplify the claim process for drivers involved in collisions. So before no fault insurance, before they introduced the DCPD, what people had to do, deal with the at-fault party or their insurance company, engage in legal battles to repair or replace their vehicles, wait for the other party's insurance company to pay for repairs. You can see the trouble with all this. You have to literally go and engage in a legal battle in many cases to get your car repaired, because we are dealing with a party whom you don't know, a third party. So look at these pictures. So you can see it's called the tort system. The word tort means it's used in the common law provinces and common law countries. It's a civil wrong that somebody has done something wrong to another person. That's what the word tort means. So in some provinces, they still follow the tort system. It's also known as a very adversarial system. Why? Because in a tort system, let's say you are in an accident with somebody and you think that the other party made a mistake and that's how the accident happened. You're blaming the other party. Then you have to go after that other party, including engaging in legal battles to get your car repaired. So in Ontario, 1990, they decided, no, we're not going to continue that system. We are going to introduce DCPD, by which you will go to your own company. Look at the picture at the bottom. So these people also are in a collision, but look how calm and composed they are. Why? They're just calling their own company to make a claim. So you simply go to your own company under DCPD and you tell them the story, how the accident happened. And you could do other things like, getting the information from the other party, their insurance, maybe take a picture of their registration plate if they allow you, and also look for any witnesses in the area. Okay, some people may have seen the accident, approach them and ask them if they would like to be witnesses. There are still people who say, I know I was watching this accident and this guy, he made a wrong turn. Yeah, I would like to be a witness. This is my phone number. We have a lot of people coming forward, good Samaritans, right? To help our customers out. So those kind of things, but then you don't go after the other party. You don't go and tell them, put the blame on them in the middle of the road. You go and deal with your own company. Now, the way it's going to work is your company will listen to your story, your adjuster, and then they're going to use something called the fault determination rules. I'm not going to launch into a lecture into that, but simply it means, so they're going to feed your story into the computer system, and it's going to compare your accident with, I believe there are about 100 different accidents that have already happened in the past. and how the decision was made, who was at fault, who was not at fault, and so on and so forth. And now you're going to get the result based on your accident, whether you are 100% at fault or 100% not at fault, or maybe you are 50% at fault and 50% not at fault. So this is called the fault determination rules. And then your company will pay you to the extent you are not at fault under DCPD. What that simply means is you don't have to go to the other party and have a fight with them or engage in legal battles. No, DCPD got rid of that. It saved a lot of headache for the Ontarians. And studies have shown this has reduced the premium and the expenses involved overall. But now through OPCF 49, we're going to remove the DCPD from the policy. Okay? So also when DCPD was introduced, there was a DCPD undertaking was also introduced. What is that all about? It simply said, by getting the coverage from your own insurance company to the extent you are not at fault, you are not allowed to go with the legal action against the at fault party, which makes sense because your company is going to pay you everything to the extent you're not at fault. So why would you also go after the other party with a legal lawsuit, right? So the problem with that is, as the OPCF now removes the DCPD coverage from the policy, the DCPD undertaking becomes null and void. This is what some customers are saying. Does this mean that we are going back to the pre-DCPD days when you must sue the at-fault party to get compensation? Because we're going to lose the DCPD. So this undertaking is now no longer valid. So I'm now going to try and clarify these questions, and I'd like to invite your comments, okay? So in my opinion, again, in my own opinion, the title of this endorsement does not quite catch the power and the consequences of customers opting in, like buying this endorsement to save some money. It is not just the collision loss customers will not be able to recover. Customers will also lose many other important coverages as well. I'm going to show you in a moment. And I'm also going to show you a few accidents, some claims that has happened in the last year, which may kind of shock you. So brokers must study the wording of this endorsement very carefully to understand the implications and be ready to explain carefully to customers the results of opting in for this endorsement. Now, perhaps the architects of this endorsement, in my opinion, originally intended to exclude the coverage for DCPD and collision losses. But then, if you look carefully, in the middle of the endorsement, just below the table where the vehicle information is entered, you find this statement, which I've highlighted for emphasis in yellow. In addition, so now in addition to the title, we are removing more coverage. Okay. In addition, there is no coverage under subsection 7.1.2c, collision or upset, or 7.1.2d, all perils with respect to the vehicles listed above. So that means we are actually removing more coverage when we reach the middle of this page of this endorsement. So this additional statement behooves us to study carefully all the sections under 7.1.2, which are excluded under OPCF 49. As soon as the customer signs the OPCF 49, the whole section 7.1.2, which we're going to break down in a moment, will be wiped out. Okay, so that means we need to tell the customer what coverages are included in the section 7.1.2 because they're going to lose all of them. Okay, not just the collision. Okay, let me go through step by step here. So the 7.1.2 has 4 sections of coverages, 4. The first one is called the specified perils. You can see if your car is on fire, it was stolen, hit by lightning, windstorm, earthquake, explosion, riot, or civil disturbance, and all of that is under specified peril. So the customer will lose all that coverage. Now, when we introduced specified perils way back when, we felt that there were few perils that we missed out in that list, so we added them. So you can see here, if you look at the comprehensive, which is B, 7.1.2B, which is now called the comprehensive coverage, this includes all the specified perils and a few more as well. Falling or flying objects, like a tree fell on your car during the windstorm, that'll be covered under comprehensive. Missiles, okay, including windshield claims caused by stone chips and vandalism. Okay, now we have a comprehensive list. Once you sign up for OPCF 49, you're going to lose all these coverages as well. Now, the third part of section 7.1.2 is C. It's a collision or upset. So that's pretty straightforward. Either it's a single vehicle collision, like you lost control, you hit a tree or a snowbank or a guardrail, or it's a multi-vehicle collision, or the upset means the vehicle just tipping over, going upside down. Okay, so you're going to lose all of that as well by signing OPCF 49. And just to top it off, okay, just so we don't miss out anything in excluding something, so we are going to also remove the all perils. So what are the all perils? It's actually a combination of the comprehensive coverages we just saw in the previous screen and the collision put together. And there are 2 additional theft coverages as they're also included under all perils. And guess what? You're going to lose everything. Okay, so section 7.1.2 has 4 subjects here, 4 lists of coverages. All of them will be lost once you sign the OPCF 49. And also customers will be on the hook on their own for the following items without any recourse. Automobile repair, the value of automobile of its replacement. We mentioned this before. Loss of use, there'll be no rental car coverages. Damage or loss of the contents inside the automobile, none of that will be covered. Now, why I'm taking this to explain this to you? Because once you become a broker, you will have questions by your customer. They would like to sign up for OPCF 49 because they heard that they can save a lot of money. There's no question the customer is going to save a substantial amount of money. But another question is, will that be worth it for the customer? So as a broker, you have to explain to the customer very carefully what they're going to lose by signing for OPCF 49 and what they're going to gain. Okay. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Okay. Let's go through this. These are real examples. So claim scenario number 1, 2023 Porsche 911 Turbo. The MSRP of this vehicle was $240,300, like $250,000 worth. The customer was paying $4,200 premium annually, and he had a deductible of $5,000. So customer opted for OPCF 49, and he saved pretty much half of the premium. There's no question there's a substantial premium. Okay, because he lost everything, as we just discussed, DCPD and all perils. Okay, there was not everything was removed, and the DCPD coverage on the entire section 7.1.2 was also removed, and OPCF 2027, which is the rental car coverages, and he also had OPCF 43. So that's endorsement when the first owner of a brand new vehicle, you can purchase that endorsement. So if the vehicle is stolen, or if it's a total loss in an accident, you will get a brand new vehicle with the same features. All of that were removed because they're no longer required because of OPCF 49. So this vehicle was declared a total loss in an accident, and the other party involved in the accident was 100% at fault for causing the accident. And guess what? The customer tried to make a claim, and he was promptly advised that, hey, you signed for OPCF 49, and he received nothing from his insurance company. Nothing. So in other words, he saved $2,100 per year, and then he lost $240,300. My friends, you can see now the devastating consequence of not advising the customer what they're going to be on the hook on their own. So practically the customer just lost like $250,000 worth of his vehicle. Here is another example. So this was the 2022 Mercedes Maybach S680. MSRP was $210,000. Customer paid $5,300 premium annually, and he had a $5,000 deductible. What's a deductible? This is when the customer is responsible when they make a claim. If they're making a claim for, let's say, $50,000, so now they're going to get 45 because the deductible is what they are responsible for. So the customer was very attracted by the OPCF 49 and the saving, and he did save $3,200 out of the $5,300. There's no question there's a substantial saving. So this vehicle was stolen and never recovered. And customer called the insurance company. They tried to make a claim, and customer received nothing from his insurer. Why? Because all the coverages, 7.1.2 that we discussed, including theft, were all removed by the OPC 49. So the customer was personally responsible to replace this vehicle worth $210,500. Yes, of course, he saved $3,200, okay, but he lost almost $250,000, right? One more, and I'll close this, okay? So we had another claim. During a severe thunderstorm, a tree fell on a 2020 Toyota Camry. The vehicle was declared a total loss. So customer had opted for OPC 49 to save $1,300 annually. Again, this customer received, you guessed it, nothing from his insurance company. Okay. All right. So before we close this, what if the customer wants to purchase OPC 49? They heard from their neighbor, oh, there's a big saving. What you're supposed to do, in my opinion, advise customers looking to save money. They would be better off understanding how affordable the coverage is rather than opting out of these important coverages. While a client might save a few dollars on their policy now, it could mean a bigger cost in the long run should a claim occur. We must be completely transparent in our advice and make absolutely sure client understood the impact of opting out of these coverages. So if customer still wants to opt for the OPCF 40, they still want to purchase OPCF 49, refer the request to your assigned underwriter or a unit supervisor, coach, manager, whoever it is. Follow your official procedures. Don't be in a rush to send the OPCF 49 for the customer for them to sign it. Do not send the OPCF 49 to customer prior to getting approval. In other words, just follow your local process. Whatever your brokerage or your insurance company they have put in place. And please advise your customer that initiating the referral process does not guarantee that we're going to add the OPCF 49 because we need to still wait if it'll be approved. And also, I can tell you this, many insurance companies, they want this request to be referred to them. Okay, they don't want you to rush and send it to the customer, get it signed, and file it away. And the customer is going to call back and say, you didn't explain to me all the nuances about this. Okay. So also for any leased or financed vehicles, customer will need to provide a letter from the leasing or financing company that gives permission for the DCPD coverage and all the section 7.1.2 coverage to be removed from the vehicle. I'll tell you this, they will never agree for this. Financing companies and the leasing companies, no, they won't allow this. By virtue of OPCF 23A and OPCF 5, we are obligated to protect the insurable interest of these lessors and lien holders. Lessors are the leasing companies, lien holders are the financing companies in the vehicles because they have still insurable interest in the vehicle. So please advise customer that obtaining a letter from the leasing or financing company does not guarantee that OPCF 49 will be added to the policy because you still must refer the request to your underwriter or your team lead, to get the internal approval. It is very important that you document all your conversations with customers real time. Okay, documentation in our industry is extremely important. What you told the customer, how the customer responded, you must document them. Okay. So remember, we asked the question, can the customer now sue the other at-fault party? So Ontario auto policy holders are unable to sue the other driver or any person involved in the accident as per Section 263 of the Insurance Act. So I've given a picture for you here to refer to. So some Ontarians have argued that Section 263 pertains to the DCPD coverage, which is very true. So this was introduced only when DCPD was introduced in 1990. However, the OPCF 49 removed the DCPD coverage from the policy. Hence, Section 263 is no longer relevant. This is what people are saying. And so people are now saying that in the absence of DCPD coverage on their policy, Section 263 violates the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. A customer told a broker recently that he must be allowed to bring a lawsuit on the at-fault driver. That means we are going back to the pre-1990, where you must launch a lawsuit or something to collect some money for the damage to your car. We discussed that. So what should be your response if the customer is asking you, no, I must be allowed to bring a lawsuit? Your response should be, insurance brokers are not qualified to provide legal counseling. So you're not telling the customer, no, you cannot do this, you can or you cannot do this. But we don't want to get into legal counseling. This is very complicated. So simply tell them that, Mr. Customer, I'm sorry, I don't have any legal qualification to advise you on whether you can go after somebody, because people are still learning about the OPCF 49. And you can see from this little presentation that I've done, it's really complicated. And so you want to be careful in how you advise the client in terms of legal counseling. Just one more point here. The best practice would be when discussing OPCF 49, please ensure that you don't come off totally discouraging the customer from opting for this endorsement. So you don't want to tell the customer that, no, don't purchase. That's not our job, okay? Because customer may take your business elsewhere. However, it is very important you explain to customer in no uncertain terms what coverages will be removed from the policy when the OPCF 49 is applied, and let them make the decision. Okay, and again, the documentation is extremely important. So also please suggest to customer that there are many other ways of reducing premium, such as increasing the deductible or bundling their home, condo, tenants insurance with their auto insurance. They can add their motorcycle, whatever they have, they get the multi-product discount. They can have a winter tire discount. There is a retiree discount. There's so many other discounts customers are entitled to. So you can find them in different companies' underwriting manual. They have a list of these discounts. Okay, so try to persuade them to save money in different ways, if possible. Hopefully, you found this some some use in this presentation. And so make some comments. What do you feel about this? And thanks, everyone. I will see you in another video.